Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Well, let me say that verbal jousting in internal contests is nothing new. It's unheard of. It's nothing unheard of. It's usual. But I would be surprised if we had any contest devoid of that. So that in itself is not a problem. Perhaps it is the extent to which it occurs that is a problem. I've always stated since the beginning of this NPP process that I think the NPP has completely misdiagnosed what their problem was. Their problem was not internal at all. Sly is right when he says that it's not the first time that we've had some form of internal turmoil in the major political parties. NEC went through our own in the post-2000 election era. Somehow we were able to weather the storm and put our hands together, contest elections. And since then we've won 4 elections in between that time. So having some upheaval or disagreements internally is not a problem. Also, that won't count at elections. The reason why I say that is that in our recent history, in 2014, the NPP had perhaps a more serious internal fracture than this one. Indeed, at the time, the likes of Haji Afati and Co. were held sway at the party headquarters, engaged in all manner of violent confrontation. You recall that hot afternoon where a violent clash broke out at the NPP headquarters of all places, where machetes were drawn and people were attacked. You will recall that even the party chairman and general secretary, Messrs. Afoko and Kwamne Japon, were locked out of their offices. You will recall the unfortunate death of Chairman Adams, I think the Upper East Regional Chairman, who was doused with acid because of internal disagreement. You will recall that gentleman who died in Asawasi, he was stabbed as a result of NPP internal disagreement. Yet, 2 years down the line, they won elections. In that was a period when we saw the rise of such groups as Delta Forces, Invisible Forces, Crocodile Forces, and Borga Crocodiles, and what have you. Yet they won elections. So what that means is that Ghanaians are not concerned about internal, if you like, internal squabbles or internal friction. What they care about is what you offer them when they give you the opportunity to govern. That is what has defined the decision making of the electorate. So for them to pin their loss down to internal division is a complete misdiagnosis of the problem. The problem is that they were terrible in government. That is why the results of the elections so clearly. The Ghanaians were unhappy with them. And it had nothing to do with what was said or was not said in internal contest. It had everything to do with an abysmal performance when given the opportunity to rule. I mean, Sly claims that those who are contesting now, each of them will be a better president than President Mahama. Well, the results or the definite evidence on the ground proves otherwise. Because the only reason why the people of Ghana voted for President Mahama is that when they compared him as president to the performance of the NPP, he was better. That's all. Otherwise, there's no way the people of Ghana will go and vote for somebody who was worse than what they have. Moro, logically, it won't make sense for you to go back to something that is worse, than something that you know clearly to be better. So the people of Ghana did not queue in the sun, in their millions, to go and elect somebody who was worse than what they were experiencing. So it is not true. None of those people who have shown interest in the NPP flag bearership and are contesting are people who are new to public administration in Ghana. All of them have served in one capacity or the other. Dr. Bawumia was the head of the economic management team. He himself is on record to have said that Nana Akufo-Addo ceded economic management to him. He was the one who supervised the most abysmal economic performance in the history of the Fourth Republic, if not our entire history.
Atakyea was on Good Evening Ghana yesterday. He dismisses that. He said
it is not true, Moro. It is not non-starter.
And
Moro, it is a non-starter. You see, the Kenoforiata thing is a convenient, contrived excuse to extricate Bawumia from deserved blame for the mismanagement of the economy. There is actually a video of Bawumia himself saying that President Akufo-Addo had given him so much space and put him in charge of the economy and he's running it. But Bawumia is on record to have led the economic management team at town halls to tout economic policy. Was he not the one who announced the so-called reversal of import tariffs in 2019 or so? Did you not see his picture on billboards with the economic management team advertising economic fora that he was superintending? Did President Akufo-Addo not go to Parliament, I think March 2018, to heap plaudits on Dr. Bawumia for supposed gains in economic management? Indeed, is President Akufo-Addo not on record to have told us that the reason why he tapped Dr. Bawumia was his economic prowess. And this was as far back as 2008. At the time, Dr. Bamia was not even a member of the NPP. But they tapped him because President Akufo-Addo said that he thought he had economic knowledge and capacity to manage the affairs of this state. Why did Dr. Bamia not hold fora on the economy? He did not hold lectures about the CD, about borrowing, and all the indicators that have to do with economic management. So why is it that they think that they can insult the intelligence of Ghanaians by seeking to distance him from the abysmal, appalling performance that led to hardships for the people of Ghana?
Okay.
Indeed, Moro. Is it not the same Dr. Bamia, who a few weeks ago was taking credit for the so-called gold for oil policy?
Yes.
And go for reserve policy. So he was not in charge of the economy. So he was not in charge of the economy. Yet he could impose a good for oil policy on the same government that he was not in charge of. I mean, what kind of logic is this? Why do they do this to themselves? You see, and that narrative is doing more damage to Bamia than any other thing. Look, it is one thing to fail, okay? It is one thing to fail. But to say that, yes, the last time we had difficulties, things didn't work out as I had planned. But give me the opportunity. I have new ideas that I think will work, which are better than what is happening today. If you do that, Ghanaians may yet reject you, but they will accord a bit more respect and credibility to your name. What he is doing now does not carry favor with the elect, because you see, tomorrow, all electorates, forget about even those who are partisan, extremely partisan. They are rational decision makers. When they go to the poll, they vote based on their circumstance. All the noise that takes place during electionary campaigns and all that, it contributes little to electoral outcomes. But people assess their living conditions. They listen to what is happening. And then they make a judgment one way or the other. They see you seek to take credit in good times. Then when times are bad, you say that it is not you. Moro, can you swear today that if the economy had panned out better than it was in 2024, they would not have told us that Dr. Bamia is the one in charge of it? But in 2018, when President Akufo-Addo went to Parliament, did he not attribute so-called economic success at the time to Dr. Bamia's leadership? It is a matter of record. Sly is a former MP. So he knows that Parliament is a house of records. What it means that what President Akufo-Addo has said has to be the truth. Otherwise, he stands for to be charged with contempt of Parliament. So unless they are saying that President Akufo-Addo went to peddle falsehood before Parliament, what they are saying is not tenable. They should stop it. It is not a campaign mantra that will succeed. Indeed, it failed woefully at the polls. I would have expected that the strategies of Dr. Bamia will move away from that narrative. Okay. Let him be candid. Let him accept responsibility for the poor performance. Look, what Ghanaians went through was a nightmare. People, millions of bondholders had their bond proceeds withheld from them, leading to severe hardships. So don't come and insult them on top by denying what is obvious, when you yourself have statements that show that you are taking credit for economic management. Okay. It is not possible, Moro, for the man who was not in charge of economic management to have been the brain behind 33 policies as they themselves claim. How is that possible? What kind of incongruence is this? So my point is that my point is that what is happening does not surprise me. Okay. I was a bit surprised initially when they decided to put the flag racial contest ahead of any other thing. But I understood them. They believe that if they get the friction and the vitriol that attends internal contest out of the way, maybe they would have the peace of mind to focus on other matters. Right. I grant them the right to adopt any strategy that would benefit them if they perceive it to be so. Okay. But I don't think that all the things that are happening today will matter when Ghanaians go to make a decision. Moro, it will simply be an analysis of who has done better. Ghanaians will assess the performance of the NDC. They will assess the performance of the NPP. Right. If they think that the NDC is doing well, they will not bother to change. That is how the trajectory of our electoral outcomes have been since 1992. Okay. If they think that the government of the day, and more in our personal life, if something is working for you, you won't change it. True. Unless something extraordinary motivates you to do so. So, they should focus on convincing Ghanaians that they did better than the NDC. Nothing short of that is going to secure them victory. Okay. And then on the bit, on the bit about the other, you see, Moro, there are two. I have a personal philosophy. Okay. Of course, nobody is bound by it. Right. There are two ways to resolve a problem. You see, you can fight fire with fire. Okay. You can also fight fire with water. You just have to decide which one works. I am of the view that given where they are and where they have come from and the sort of defeats they have suffered, they are better off closing ranks than further dividing their front. In any organization, there are people who may feel upset, offended by how things panned out.
Okay.
If you listen to the likes of Kwakye, but it's obvious that there are things that they were unhappy about. They feel that they were not treated fairly,
Right.
or that there were things that were done to them that were unfair. It behoves the party to make an effort to stretch an arm to these people, to extend an olive branch, rather than seeking to alienate them. Because, Moro, make no mistake, until the NPP had an opportunity to have 16 years in government, people had not really come to terms with what stuff they are made of in terms of governance. So people depended on the kind of personalities they presented to make decisions whether to vote for them or not. So the likes of Bob Watson, who is a distinguished heart surgeon, who has done great for himself, brought some sheen to the NPP. The likes of Dr. Nyawota Maklo, a distinguished medical practitioner who was a former military officer, brought some sheen. The likes of what do you call it? Nana Akufo-Addo himself. The likes of Mr. Hackman, Uswajiman, Dr. Atakyea, the likes of Osafo Mafu,
Right.
Dr. Safu Edu, all of them. At least when you mention their names, it as it were engenders some confidence in the electorate. Of course, pending the rollout of their governance style. It is after Ghanaians saw that despite all these people, you simply cannot manage the economy well and we are suffering, that they voted them out. Now, these people cannot be shunted aside simply because they have some internal disagreement. So I would urge the NPP, they may not take it, to take a second look at the approach. You can fight fire with fire. You can also fight fire with water. Again, you can respond to situations with your heart. You can also do so with your head. I think responding with your head is better than responding to your heart. More, if you insult me, I can choose not to respond. I can choose to respond. Both ways can lead to certain outcomes. But if I don't respond, it is more likely for that conflict we have to be resolved much quicker than if I respond to inflame passions. So this one, they can decide what they want to do. You see, the reason why elders are important is that sometimes they can help manage difficult situations to the benefit of the party. You see, an example is Mr. B.J. Darocha of blessed memory. You recall that he was such a respected figure in the NPP. In 2008, when we went for the second round, and it became clear that the NPP had lost, but Nana Akufo-Addo was dragging his feet, it appeared that all other elders had difficulty calling him out and insisting that we should do the right thing so that it saves and preserves the name of the NPP for the future. It was Mr. B.J. Darocha who publicly came out and said that what Nana Akufo-Addo was doing was not right and that he should concede so that Ghanaians will retain some respect which the NPP can leverage in future elections. It was an important intervention. You notice that the moment that happened, things stalled, and therefore we were able to revert to normalcy and have a situation where the results could be declared and then we could carry on with our lives. If they had persisted, who knows what would have come out of it? They would have damaged the NPP brand further and it would have counted against them. Indeed, that action of some intransigence on the part of Nana Akufo-Addo affected him in future elections. In the 2012 elections, it was used against him. And I'm sure there are people among the electorate who considered that and had doubts about his suitability for the office of president because of that behavior. So sometimes you need elders to pull you back from the brink. Sometimes what they say may not be pleasant to the ear, but there's wisdom in it. It may hurt, but it can be medicinal and will resolve the problem. So don't be in a haste to jettison your elders because you disagree with them. Listen and engage and find a way to address it. Why? Is the NPP not better off having one more vote in the shape of President Bob Watson than losing one more vote? And mind you, because it is been from Watson, he will also come with additional vote because there are people who respect him and hold him in high regard, who he exerts influence on. Those within his professional circles may lend support to the party in ways that could be beneficial. So I don't think that despite
the General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Frimpong-Kodia, says is very, very certain. In fact, he believes, in fact, he said it emphatically that the government is behind what Professor Frimpong-Boateng is doing.
That must be dismissed without even any hesitation. You see, again, it speaks to the caliber of leadership in the NPP. See, that's not how you analyze. And I like Sly's approach. It's not an endorsement of his general secretary. You see, a general secretary should be calmer, more level-headed. They say that opinion do manti. Forget about age per se. You understand? Forget about age. He may be youthful, but once you become general secretary of an important organization like a major political party, your demeanor, what you say, and your approach must be unifying and inure to the benefit of the party than to create division. How do you see that because Frimpong Boateng has criticized his party, then government, why does government need to be behind it? Why do you reduce Professor Frimpong Boateng to that level? This is a man who was a self-made man before he joined the NPP. He does not need governmental inducement, as it were, to point out some misgivings he has. Even when he was minister, did he not write a report in which he criticized the conduct of some of his party? At that time, too, was the NDC in opposition behind him.
Okay.
And for me, it detracts significantly
from
what a general secretary should be. It's an important position. Okay. So you should not be hasty to attack people who express disagreement. He should be leading the efforts to unify the party and close ranks. Even if you want to impose punitive measures on offending, there's a way to go about it. At least let the process appear independent. Let the process appear fair. Okay. You understand me? But you don't throw the baby away with the bathwater. I don't think that is helpful in any way.
So let's do.
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.